How does Entropy work?
Entropy works in a really simple way. Essentially, it consists of a device, which is a handheld microscope, along with an iPod. We give this to our customers, and what it helps do is it takes microscopic images of different parts of an item, let's say it's a handbag, and these images through the app are sent up to our computers, which are on the cloud. And these computers are determining with a very high degree of accuracy whether those images belong to an authentic or a fake product. And if it's authentic, they get a certificate, which comes along with the with the app, which they can then print or put up online in their product listing, or share on social media to whoever wants to buy that product.
What does Entropy mean, and how did you come up with the name?
So Entropy, the name was our CTO Ashlesh. He came up with it, and Lakshmi and I loved it, so we kept it. And the name is basically a combo, a portmanteau of entropy, which is the concept of randomness in the universe, and truth, which is using the randomness of the universe, we are trying to uncover the truth of physical objects, which is kind of how entropy works.
Where do you get the items you scan for your database, and how do you know that they're authentic?
So it was a really long process. We initially collected data from, we went to stores ourselves and bought these items, and it was certainly a sight to be accosted by these nice women at these retail stores trying to help men trying to buy handbags, right? It didn't look right. But we did that often enough, and we also hounded our family, friends, colleagues for any luxury products they had so we could collect data. And we also struck data partnerships with a lot of people whom we're still in touch with, who are still our data partners from around the world, not just the US, not just specializing in specific brands, because the goal of building the database, so at this point, when we started off, there was we had this idea that yes, we could use technology for authentication, but we didn't know how we'd get all the world's data. If you don't map that, you're going to have garbage in, garbage out. And if you don't know if it's accurate, if the way you have mapped something is authentic or fake, if that's not right, you'll constantly get bad results, and you won't have a business necessarily. So we had to build our own knowledge base and also consult people in the industry, with brands, with retailers, with friends we knew who were in the industry, who worked for resellers, distributors in the space. So we spoke to them. We also studied every brand, from the history, the manufacturing practices, the quality of materials, where they sourced it from, when did it change, when did more factories open, when did new products come out with new materials. And we mapped all of that. Essentially, we try to map the genome of a brand, their physical genome of a brand. And as we know, more brands have come up over time, and more of those brands have built more and more of those products. So it became like this crazy, huge project where we had to map everything we could get our hands on. But we did that, and all the data that we'd get, we wouldn't rely on the customer or the data partner or even our friends, their determination of, oh yeah, no, I bought it at the store, this is authentic, or oh, this one's definitely fake. We take that as a nominal label, but we just use it as a label. So then we'd feed the algorithm that information, and it turns out machine learning and deep learning algorithms are very good at spotting anomalies. So if you gave them a bunch of Chanel products from say 2002, they would say, yeah, everything looks good except for this one, because it doesn't match with anything else that's authentic. It might actually be a fake, right? So it would, and then we had to go review it. That we'd go take that outlier out, and we'd review it. We'd even contact, we knew people in the industry. We'd even contact other authenticators that we knew, get them to look at it. We'd vet that information for every single one that we had doubts on. We would vet that information, then refeed it to the algos. So over time, what ends up happening is the algorithm is constantly learning all of this information. It also learns that it got it wrong previously, right? So it knows to look for those specific outliers, and it also knows that with more and more data, it's definitely able to get that diversity of information, which is, instead of the 2 samples of Chanel bags from 2002, it's now looking at 200. So it sees either more consistency or it sees more inconsistencies. But either way, it's knowledge that is helping it classify better, right? And essentially, that's how we function for about a year and a half, close to 2 years. That's when we even launched the product out. So it took us a long time to do that. And that's why we have such high accuracy rates. That's why our customers are so happy.
Do you work with any of the brands?
We don't officially work with any of the brands yet. However, we do have constant dialogue with various brands because we seem to share similar values and goals when it comes to counterfeiting.
What are the correct numbers for accuracy?
The latest audit pegs us at about 99.1% true positive rate, which is the rate at which we're able to detect anything correctly, whether it's fake or authentic. And then the rate at which the number of times we let fake slip through, which is what we call as a false positive rate, is 0.1%, just less than 0.1%. So that number has been, the thing that we're so happy about is, despite massive increase in the number of authentications we've had, we started off, I think a couple years ago, we started off with a 96.2 or 4% accuracy. Today we're at 99.1, and yet the false positive rate is still at the same 0.1%. So that means that it's been consistently getting better, and it will continue to get better.
What happens if you're wrong?
Well, if we're wrong, we try to put our money where our mouth is. We provide a financial guarantee to our customers because we think that is, if we're providing trust and we're guiding our customers to either purchase or sell an item with that confidence, then we should be able to reimburse them if we got it wrong. And of course, we have a process where you go through a dispute, and we try to keep it as independent as possible. It is independent. And if that does not side with our result, then we immediately, with proof of purchase, we immediately buy out whatever the price was paid for that item.
Do I have to pay extra for the certificate?
No. And for every authentication, you get a certificate, if it is authentic, of course, and you pay nothing extra for it.
What companies do you work with?
We work with a variety of customers. We work with hundreds of them. Some of them are pawn shops, some of them are consignment stores, some of them are large marketplaces, both local and international. Even luxury retailers work with us. So it's a very varied set of customers, and different people use it differently. Some people use it to boost their online sales with the certificate. Some people use it to make sure when people walk in with product, they're able to take in inventory in a standardized and a trustworthy manner. Some people use it to improve their process and their efficiency, because it's really hard to hire, train, and retain authentication staff. And many of them are amazing and experts, and we know quite a bit of them because we work with some of them unofficially. But the problem is you can't replicate that expertise. So that's kind of where we step in. And I think we work with customers in over 10, 15 countries or so, and we're slowly expanding internationally. We have a lot of requests, but we want to grow in a responsible manner, but there's a lot of growth that we're dealing with.
Where do you see Entropy in the future?
At the top, for sure. Be the best in the business. But importantly, I see Entropy as definitely getting closer to being a standard of trust when it comes to high value goods. I see Entropy expanding across multiple other product types and markets and verticals. I see Entropy helping different types of customers in other ways as well, not just authenticity, but also quality, but also trust in returns, etc. So there's different types of innovations that we're coming out with for different markets, but ultimately the goal is always to build trust in transactions.